Okay, let's take a few questions really quick, which I like to do under this new format. And the first one is from Alex. She says, hey, Frank, as a female in my 30s, it's always something my dad talked to me about, but never dedicated time to learn and study stocks. The past year, I've been committed to learn more about stocks and was fortunate to find your podcast. Absolutely love listening to your podcast because of all the topics you cover. It's given me a crash course and see things sometimes from a different perspective. Thanks, I appreciate that. So remember a few months back when you had Amir Adnani on talking about Uranium royalty, and I watched that particular stock, and there wasn't much movement on it. Most recently, you had him on to talk about what's changing the industry with the Sprott Trust. It made total sense to me, and I was able to get in and buy some UEC. Shortly after, saw some great gains, which have now disappeared. My question is, did I miss the window and should have sold after that big pop? Or is this more of a longer-term play with the Sprott Trust keep buying the uranium in the market? Appreciate your insight. So, Alex, I mean, you probably bought it within a 3-week stretch that it's not higher. When I first had Amir on, I think uranium prices were at $30 and they went to 52 and now they're probably like 45-ish, I think, 44. They pulled back a little bit. So, yeah, these stocks pull back a little, but they should. Look, the underlying trends are still there, and you don't want to get into trading stocks because you're not a professional trader. And 99% of people at IC get killed trying to trade. It's just they get wrecked. It's very, very hard. Seriously, I know 2 traders that I would follow. Other than that, and I've known hundreds of them that I wouldn't follow. You just extend the chart out a little further, and you get the data that you want. You get the chart that you want. It's just kind of funny, right? So, don't trade for this. This is a fundamental change in the workplace. Remember, we had Amir on when a lot of these things were a lot lower, and that's the biggest lesson here: is investing in things when they're not exciting, which is hard. I get guys like Chris Mayer on the podcast, Cuppy on the podcast telling you to buy oil how long ago? I mean, I have great guys. Asymmetric investing, just investing in these trends that they know are going to change over the next few years and willing to take some losses on the way up. But you want to try to get in early. I'm not saying that it's still not early for this trend, but you've seen a lot of gains already made. This is more of a long-term trend. And another thing I could tell you, instead of buying into, because you're talking about uranium royalty and you bought UEC, 2 different companies, but even buying into UEC or other companies, don't buy a full position right away. You don't know what the market's going to do. I mean, it just ran up a lot. Buy a little bit. So if you buy a third of a position, you almost hope it comes down, because when it comes down, you buy more when it goes lower and you improve your cost basis. And if the thing takes off, at least you own it, which is cool from a psychological standpoint, right? You want to be right in the head when, okay, you take a full position in a company and you see a 15% pullback, you're like, holy shit, the first thing you want to do is sell it, and that stock could be up 100, 200% in 2 years. So you want to manage your positions better and try to get into trends early when, you listen to the podcast with Amir. If you would have got in, you'd probably be up, if I had to guess, at least 50% on, even at these levels where it pulled back a little bit. And UEC, UEC was 360, pulled back a little bit, I believe, and it was over $3 for a period of like 10 days. And it's $3 today. So, outside that 10-day period, you should be doing pretty well at it, I think. But, when I first had them on, these things have taken off. But that's kind of when you want to invest in these things. I try to bring things early to you. I try to talk about even carbon streaming, different companies. Again, I'm in that company. I own it, $100,000 position. I said to my subscribers, if you want to come in, that's how much I'm investing in it. I'm not selling it anytime soon. I'm not looking, let's build this thing up and go to 4 and I'm out. No, this is something I truly believe in that's going to be around for 10 years. And these guys are well ahead of the curve, very smart people. And, just the people involved in this company investing that were able to get the same terms as them is pretty incredible, which doesn't happen in SPACs and things like that, right? Which I'll cover in my interview tomorrow. It could be really cool. But anyway, those are some of the suggestions I would make. Let me take one more question. Thank you so much for writing in, Alex. I appreciate it. Next one is from Edward. It says, CRA member wondering what it takes to become an analyst. He says, hello, Frank. I'm a high school math teacher that can't stand the educational system anymore. I always loved teaching and coaching, but COVID has made me lose all trust in the system I work for. After 9 years of teaching, I want to transition into something else after the school year. The career choice at the top of my list is a financial analyst. I feel like I have the analytical prowess, work ethic, and intuition to excel at this. As a successful analyst yourself, what advice would you give someone considering this career path? Also, I checked your website to see if you were hiring for this position. Unfortunately, you're only looking for a marketing director at the moment. If this changes and you're ever hiring this position, I'll fight tooth and nail for it. It's Edward. So what I wanted to do, and I want to do this earlier, but there's so much going on with our token and lots of really cool stuff and trying to get this listed in the U.S. on a major platform which is going to result in more liquidity, more trading, which is really, really cool for all shareholders and everybody getting in it. So it's been really, really crazy, and even through COVID, but I wanted to start an investor clinic, a free clinic, my way of giving back to maybe open up to 12 to 15 investors once a week, do it on Zoom, teach you guys everything I know, give you homework assignments, and really being, it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be like, hey, this is real. No, I'm going to bust your balls on exactly what I went through, working for Kramer, working for my dad. That's what I'm going to do. Tell you to do something, you don't do it, I may kick you out of the class. That's one of the ways to learn. Being a financial analyst, though, it's difficult to get your foot in the door. It's easier in the newsletter industry, creating your own newsletter, your own product, or your own system, your own method of finding it, your math. Maybe you want to do algos and things like that. But it's not easy to break through. There's a lot of compliance involved now, too, even if you're looking on the sell side analyst. But even on the buy side, what I do, we're always looking for analysts. We're always looking for analysts with good ideas, things that we could sell. I mean, if you have a value style and you have great returns and you're like, hey, buy Microsoft and writing covered calls, a financial newsletter publisher can't sell that. So it's very hard to have a newsletter like that, even though it does well. At the end of the day, we're a business. So we want to provide great information to you, but also we want to bring people in front of you that, are great, that have great performance, and, products that we know everybody is really interested in. Because I think, from my point of view, you could buy Microsoft and buy and hold it, and you don't need me. You don't have to pay me for that or pay any analyst for that. You don't need any of that shit. You can do that for yourself. So to break into this industry, I'm going to try to do this clinic. I want to try to get it off the ground this year. If not, it's going to be early next year. I thought it would be this year, but again, a lot has come on my plate, as you can see, with the more podcast format and doing more podcasts, getting newsletters out, video format, and now I'm traveling again. But I'd really like to do that. And I think it would be a huge success, not just for you, but for me, getting to meet a lot of you, choosing those 15 people and having those contacts for life and giving you the shot. People gave me a shot when I was younger, and I remember those people for the rest of my life. And I'm sure some of you guys might go on to much bigger things. And when I'm old and poor and don't know anybody, you might come to me and say, hey, Frank, you want a job? So you always want to give back because, the same people you made on the way up are the same people you meet on the way down. My dad always told me that. But I'm nice to everybody. I treat everybody with respect, and I never judge. But that's one of the things I would do to really work on it. And keep listening to the podcast and CRA, listen to the videos. Again, there's a lot of education there, how I'm teaching you everything I do through the newsletters, which is awesome. Like Curzio Venture, Curzio Research Advisory. Guys, I put everything into it. I'm doing all these videos, 30, 40-minute videos. They go by very quick, but I'm showing you how, through the process of how I picked a certain stock. And it's not the same process every time. If the same process worked, the whole world would use it. It doesn't work every time. So just showing you what I'm seeing. If it's an insider buy, what they did, they changed their business model. Here's this new CEO that they just hired. There's so many different things that are not being factored in. With a disconnect between the price and where the stock should be. And I'm telling you why I think it's going to go higher and all the catalysts that are going to come next 6 to 12 months. But covering all this stuff, that's the best education you can get. Put some money into the markets, but you also want to come up with your own style, your own formula, something that's unique, which is really cool because that's something a lot of publishers could sell, and also go into the clinic. Okay, so get frankcurzioresearch.com. Feel free to email me. I already got tons of emails on this. I'm going to pick 15 people. I'm going to try to do it over the next couple months, guys. I always do what I said I'm going to do. This just took a little bit longer because there's a lot on my plate, and my shareholders. I'm going to do something. Again, we want to have a lot of liquidity, which is going to mean we could raise money, we could just, market, we could acquire companies and really grow the shit out of this company, which I'm really, really excited about. So those are the best ways. And thanks so much for writing it.